All right, I think this should be working. Sorry for the delay in the stream. All right, hey guys, is there anybody here at the moment? Is the other thing. Um, yep. Wow, I'm starting this way late. It is 10:07, at least by my clock. All right. Let me see. Okay. I think people might not be here because I started the stream late, so maybe they thought the stream wasn't happening. So I'll just get right to it. We have a bunch of questions in the folder that you guys have sent in. And if you guys don't know me, my name is Jay. We'll be going over a bunch of the tough SAT questions together, all submitted by you guys. So we'll do that. We'll get to that. Okay, cool. Let me just give it like one more minute though. See if there is anybody here. There were two people waiting at 10, but my computer had to update and stuff. And so, yeah. Uh, huh. But I do want to have at least somebody come in. You know what I mean? Hmm. No? Oh, yay. All right. We have one person in the chat. All right. Okay, cool. Sorry for starting late, but yeah, I'll get started right away. What's up? What does your username say? Mayperdial? Perdial? Perdial? Anyway, okay, since we have people now, I'll get started. So, this is what I'm going to do. If you guys can see on my screen, um, we have a bunch of questions. Right, inference 1, inference 2, sure. We have a whole bunch. If you guys in the chat, I think there's maybe two people in the chat. Do you have any advice for hard main idea questions? Okay, that is a good question. Let me see if there are any main idea questions here. There aren't main idea questions here, but we can totally do main idea questions. I can pull it up right now. Khan Academy, Digital SAT, because I always prefer having the sample problem on the screen when we do questions. Okay, so main idea questions. This is the annoying thing though. Khan Academy puts the central ideas and details into one category. Yeah. This is an inference question, so this is a detail question. So let's see. And we're doing that one. Let's get to. Oh, all right. This is a sample main idea question. We'll look at that. Please let me get rid of it. All right. So the question in the chat was, how do we do hard main idea question? Hoping for 700 to reading. Totally doable. I don't know what your practice score is, but it's totally doable. So yeah, let's get to this main idea question. Let me pull that up on my screenshot actually, because so I can write all over it. So with the main idea questions, and these if you guys have been watching our videos, the stuff I'm going to say is going to overlap with what I've covered because I have covered most of these strategies hopefully at this point in the channel. So as always, you locate that this is a main idea question, right? Because that's what the question says. I always read this part first so I know the category that I'm working with. And the main idea is going to be probably over here. And this is a pretty good example because, and this is maybe the one that you don't have too much trouble with. When I noticed that this is a research passage, which on the SAT is the most common type of passage. Unless it is literature, then literature is its own category. Most of the passages on the SAT is going to be on research. It's going to be either research or a biography on like a particular individual and how that individual is impressive in whatever manner and so forth. Well, this is the research type. So the research type is going to be, for main idea, what was the finding or conclusion? That is the main idea. And that is going to be present most of the time in the last sentence. Now, should you just read this whole thing? Yeah, because it's not that long. None of the SAT passages are that long, right? So, but you don't have to read the whole thing. If you want, you can start here in the last sentence. And if the answer is not there, then of course you have to read more. Okay? So the really quick way to go about it would be, okay, it's a main ID question. This is a research passage. And the finding was that users employed cognitive mechanisms to mitigate those feelings. That vocab you have to know. Mitigate is to make less bad, ultimately reversing their initial sense of disappointment. Okay? So users can feel bad initially, but not feel bad later. So the answer here is going to be A. They can feel content even after negative, right? So that's rearrangement, rephrasing of that statement. And the other important tool, and this is just for main idea, this is for like all of them, is am I being really good at getting rid of answers? A is out, most. That's a really common trap answer word because most means over half. Yeah. What do we have in the text? They had many. That's a really important tip too. Many does not mean most. They do that a lot though. The text said many users or many people do this, and then the wrong answer choice says most people. How would I know it's most? Right? Even if it's like 9 million people, that's not enough close to being most. Most means over half of the people. Same thing with C. You can take it out because of that one word, most. Okay. And then A, and then D. Why did I just say the wrong letter like that? This is not going to be the main idea for a research passage. This is going to be background idea. I don't even know if this is true or not because I didn't look at the passage. But this would be, there is little that is known. That's the reason for our research, but that's not the finding of our research. That's not the main idea for a research passage. So that's out. So from that, I can be pretty sure the answer here is A, although I haven't really read the body here. Should you read the body here on the actual test? Yeah, you should to be more sure. But if you want to be super concise and efficient with the timing, this is the least amount of work that you have to do. Okay. So that's main idea question. I know you asked for like advice for a hard main idea question, but the approach I just took works for like the vast majority of them because the approach I took is for the research passage ones. Okay. So the research passage, the main idea is going to be what was the result of the research? What is the finding? What is the conclusion? It'll most likely be in the last sentence or two. Okay. Yeah. Cool. If you guys have any other questions, yeah, feel free to put them in the chat. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll just kind of go through whatever questions are in the folder that you guys sent me, or whatever questions are in the Khan Academy. Yeah, whichever one. Cool. So I know I had in the comments that they wanted me to do boundary question, but people didn't really put in boundary questions in here. Oh, this one person put up like 17 questions in the chat and the folder, so I should probably do those as well. So I don't see any preference in the chat for a particular question, so I'll just kind of go through in order of what was uploaded. Yeah. Okay. And my goal is to get through like a decent number of questions. I don't have that much time for the live stream today because I am, if you guys didn't know, I am a graduating senior at college and I am taking 7 classes right now and finals are coming up. So I have to get to studying and writing my essays as well. Yeah, and I also have like 4 jobs. So, but you know, I'm still getting up. It's 10 a.m. here to do this for you guys because I want you guys to do well. As international students, I want you guys to do well on your studies, and hopefully you guys can make it to the United States. All right, this type of question. it gets people. So this is the inference question. Okay, how do I know that this is inference? Well, because it says, it doesn't say inference, does it? It says which one most logically completes the text. College War / Khan Academy, they call it inference. Just know that. Inference question, these are the most annoying, in my opinion, in terms of time consumption. You have to skim through the whole thing. This whole thing. Okay. So those of you in the chat, take your time to read through that. And feel free to put in what you guys think might be the answer. Okay. So while you guys do that, I'll just go through what the passage flow for, again, this is research, which is the most common passage type. So we have background information of what CCZ is. So we have like definition. Okay. And then we have this transition, but poorly understood. The reason for research being necessary. Which is a lot of times, okay, we're wrong about something, we're mistaken about something, or we're poorly understanding something. We don't know something, so we have to figure it out. All right. And then we have, it has been highly concentrated in the eastern part, so maybe now we have to look at parts that are not eastern. All right. So then we have Ladella Kudinesi. They use both morpho and molecular. And then we have other species, only morpho. And then since molecular, the blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I really want to make sure when I have these scientific terminologies, I connect the Della is both morph and molecular. And the other thing, the prion, whatever, is only morph. Okay. So, and then I have to complete this as the last question. Since molecular analysis does not require distinguishing subtle physiological differences, it is okay. The answer is A, but we'll get to that. It's more likely to properly distinguish morphologically similar but distinct, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the answer here is going to be A. And the logic for this can take a lot to explain if you take the standard approach, but we'll try to take the quick approach, okay? So, the other thing is, if I don't really quite understand what A is saying, leave it alone and move on to the other answer choices. This is what I would definitely recommend. It's a lot easier to get rid of the other ones. B, frequency, is nowhere mentioned in the text. And the main point, not the main point, but the conclusion for my research passage, right, is going to be either what we learned or what would be good, what would be a useful thing to do, what would be a useful thing to do. But what is used more often is not an important enough idea, nor is it mentioned anywhere here about frequency. Okay, so the answer B is out because what did they say? For Ladella, they use both morphology and molecular. Which one do they use more often? I don't know. That's out. Okay. C is wrong. It's definitely wrong. So this is saying molecular is useful for preanopsio. You don't use molecular for preanopsio, you only use morphology. This is the other thing too, guys. You see how molecular and morphology, they kind of start with the same letters? It's really easy to mix up the words. They do that on purpose. You have to keep track. You really have to keep track. So that's out. Okay. So we have between A and D. D. So you see how similar these are? When you have two answer choices that sound pretty similar to each other, that means like one of them is probably the answer. We have this method is more likely to whatever, and then this is providing greater. So it makes it sound like, okay, so they're both saying that the molecular way can do more. Yeah. So which one is it? Well, what do you guys think? Do I care about greater detail? Oops. Do I care about greater detail, or do I care about properly distinguishing? What do you guys think? Uh, I know there aren't that many of you in the chat right now, but what do you guys think? Oh, I have to check the chat. It is A, because we have identify, yeah? We have distinguishing, we have identify, yeah? The main point of the text was about identifying species, which is A. Distinguishing species is identifying species. And also, D doesn't make sense. D is the opposite. They do that all the time as well. A lot of times you have to make. This is one of my recent videos actually. For the research passages, they will put in the answer choice that has all of the scientific terminology that you would expect, but it goes in the opposite direction, right? It says greater physiological, yeah, but molecular does not require the physiological. It's the opposite. Molecular doesn't do physiological. So my answer here is A. And this is one of the harder questions because the wording is unfamiliar, right? All right, so let me just clear that out since I was kind of teaching it. So if I were actually doing the test, how would I go through this? I am saying, okay, so the molecular. So there's molecular versus morpho, which they also reframe as physiological. I would want you guys also kind of like keep track of the scientific terminologies because some of them get reused and they expect you to have some type of bio knowledge. They just, yeah, just kind of necessary for a test. Is that fair? I don't know, but they want you to have it. Morphology slash physiology is like the physical body of the organisms. Molecular is like much smaller. It's like looking at the DNA. Okay. So again, that this thing is for the Ladella, and then for the pre-Nospio, they only looked at only morpho. Last bit of tip. I know we're spending a lot of time on this question, but it's a really good teaching tool. Notice how that this one just says the method used to identify this thing. They don't use the direct scientific vocabulary from here because that would have made it easier. So once they layer it like that, it's also much more likely to be answered. Okay. So this is asking, okay, so what about how is a molecular good? So the molecular is better than this thing because the molecular doesn't require you to do this. It's easier to use. So the answer here is that. All right, let me check the chat for a second. I know I haven't been to the chat. Have I taken calculus 2 yet? I actually took calculus 2 a year ago, the past spring semester of 2024. Yeah, got a 98, if that matters, if I want to show off a little bit. Okay, so the answer here is A. Yeah, you just have to know bioterms, and like especially evolutionary theory and evolutionary, not history, but like natural selection and how that works. You do have to know bio. Chem, physics, not as much, but bio, they just use a lot of research on like bio passages, so it'd be very helpful to know them. All right, okay. So we'll do another hard science question. Yeah, and again, if you guys want like a different type of question or particular type, feel free to let me know. Oh, and then while you guys are here, chat. I know you guys probably already looked at the drive. You guys even might have been the ones to upload stuff to the drive. But that's the folder. I just put in the chat. Oh, can I pin that? I can. Yeah. So if you guys want to go over the particular questions from that folder, let me know in the chat. And also, if you guys want to put more questions in the folder, be my guest. Uh, okay. Let's see. You guys are talking to each other in the chat, which is cool. Yeah. Can I get a 1500 in May? You guys could totally get 1500. And I have pretty good confidence you guys are gonna do well on the math though. Alright. This is a pretty good one too. So I think this might have I've seen this on Khan Academy, I feel like. Yeah. So look at it, guys. Be my guest and trying to answer it. This is another inference, which again they rephrase. They're gonna avoid using the answer will avoid using direct language. Probably. No hydrocolloid. This is yes. Alright. Alright, chat. Let's see. We have any guesses for this one? If not, I'll just kind of keep writing down what my process will be. So without a hydrocolloid batter, so let me just, okay, if I do have hydrocolloid battering, what happens? When I have a hydrocolloid battering, when I have them, they are viscous. Viscous means they are resistant to flow. It's sticky type of liquid. It's like thick. It's like syrupy. Uh, uh, okay. So with the hydrofluoric, you keep the water, right? Because it says reduce moisture. Okay. Okay. And then what else do I learn? If the water evaporates, oils can come in. So if water leaves, fats come in. Okay. However, with the hydrocolloids, you keep the water, so then fats don't come in. I know this is like not very clearly organized, but that's because that's how they give you the information in the text. But I want to have this organized like this because if I have the colloid, it's viscous, it keeps the water so the fats don't come in. So then if I don't have the colloid, water leaves and the fats come in. So you see there's like this like chain of logic. If I have this, A goes up, which results in B going down, and my answer is going to be asking for like that end product. So that's my answer. So therefore the answer here is B because I have higher fat content. Need to be cooked quickly. I have no idea. More quickly, higher temperature. Those elements are not discussed here at all. That's just, it's about cooking. So they just throw in like random cooking kind of like strategies, elements. And then different oil, but why? Why does it have to be fried in a different oil? That's like asking for so much extra information. So whether or not it's going to be fattier or not, like, does that mean it's like unacceptable? I don't know. And then A is the most common trap answer people put because people just see the word, oh, viscous. I see that word, viscous. Yeah. And then, okay, we have hydrocolloid. We just had hydrocolloid. But it's backwards. Again, I had a video on this just recently. It has the correct things, but it's backwards. The hydrocolloids are the things that make you viscous. This is asking for it without hydrocolloids to be less viscous. This one says more. It's backwards. So the answer here is B. Yeah. But the direct things they say is hydrocolloids are viscous. Hydrocolloids keep the water. But neither of those things are in the answer choice B, which is the correct answer. What they have the last thing. Okay, they are more viscous, they have more water, therefore they have less fats. which is the background information that gives you B. Ah. Okay. Good job, good job. Okay. Take a pot shot guess. B, yeah. Oh, you guys are good with B. Yep, this is pretty good. This is a decent question too. Let me see. Then we have a inference question. I want to do a grammar because why not? But this one I'll do quickly. Oh, this is a tense question, which is pretty rare. SAT doesn't like to ask about tense too much. Oh no, it's not. It's not even tense. Okay. See, I just fell for it, but this is a pretty important point. Tense questions are very rare. This should be my last suspicion. Okay. So I looked at the answer trace. So I was like, oh, maybe it's a tense question because like that's present, that's that's past perfect, and that's past. So maybe I have to pick between those tenses. The answer is probably here. What are we saying? D or C? I am more likely to. I know the answer already. I mean, not me, but like, it's most likely to be C here because tense questions are pretty rare. So the tense, whether or not this should be whatever tense, I go to that at the very end once I've eliminated all other types of questions. So first thing I check is the subject verb agreement, is it singular plural? But then I realize are, have been, were, those don't differ in singular plural, so that's not the issue here. But I also noticed that this would make it not a sentence. Whereas A, B, and D would all be a sentence. So if it's sentence versus non-sentence, that means this could fall under the boundary category, which SAT loves to test. So it's probably C, so let's look here. Known as the brass era, this period, subject, is remembered. That's subject verb, that's one sentence. Its vehicles, another subject, are prized, that's a new sentence. Have been prized, that's a new sentence. Were highly prized, that's a new sentence. However, it's just a comma. All of A, B, and D will be a run-on sentence, so the answer here is C. That would make it not a sentence. It looks like it would be because I was implied still a verb. No, this has to be passive voice. Yeah. Like, it'd be like, the homework was... actually, no, it's not Google. The homework was graded. That's a sentence. The homework graded by the professor. That's not a sentence. The homework was graded by the professor. Sentence. The homework graded by the professor. Not a sentence. Yeah. Okay. So that's C. And I'll just keep going through. Unless some of the ones are the font. Where are you guys getting these questions? This one I can't get the whole thing. Let me check the chat again if you guys have any particular ones you want to do. There's so many here. Oh, I like this one. It's punctuation. Hopefully the quality is not terrible. Let me see. Let me zoom this in though. I really don't like how that is. Alright. Huh. Okay. So I'm assuming this person got it wrong. Like they got D, but the correct answer is B. That's what I'm assuming. But why doesn't the colon work here? Because I have seen this once on the actual College Board questions. It's pretty rare they make a differentiation between the colon and the Semicolon. What do you guys think? I don't know how the delay is with the chat. Anybody? All right. Colon is more restrictive in idea content than I've done a video on this too, but than a semicolon. Semicolon is just sentence 1, semicolon, sentence 2. Colon is sentence 1, colon, stuff that expands on sentence 1. Okay. So that's a semicolon splits 2 independent sentences. A colon doesn't have to do that. So if I say my brother likes golf, semicolon, he is not very good, however. I could do that because both of the sentences are about my brother and golf. But I cannot do a colon for that because my brother not being good at golf does not add to him liking golf. Those are different ideas. There's a contrast. Or I could say, my brother is tall. I am not. I could use a semicolon there. Yeah, sure, because they're both about height. But I can't use a colon there. Me not being tall doesn't add to the information of my brother being tall, right? It would have to be, my brother is tall, colon, he is 6 foot, whatever. That's the way the colon works. So here, we have, in her prints, sweatpants become a camel, pliers become flip-flops. So the pliers becoming flip-flops doesn't add to the sweatpants becoming a camel. That doesn't make sense. So the answer has to be here, B. They're just separate sentences. Oh, so this is also the other way to go about it, guys. If both of them are joining independent clauses, just go with the semicolon. Because semicolon you can always use when you join different sentences, always. Whereas a colon, you have to look at like the content. So the answer here is B. However, things are not always like, that easy. Colon, you do not have to have 2 separate sentences. Colon, the second part doesn't have to be a sentence. That's the other difference. Okay. All right, let me check the chat. If you guys want any particular things? Yeah. Yes, the equal sign is equals to. Yeah, my handwriting is. I know my handwriting is not. Actually, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Which I should work on. You guys have any particular questions you want me to do? Otherwise, I'll just pick like a random one, or I might also do something from Khan Academy because they have had kind of like new questions. So you guys said you're okay with literature. I'm not gonna do that. Let me see. Any other topics? They did say they want me to do boundary. I don't know if they made it to the chat though, to the live stream. We have done inference. We did a couple of those. We did central idea already. We could do command of evidence. Let me see. Have we done a cross text today? I don't think we have. All right, do you guys want to do cross text or purpose? No response. Cross text. Ah, cool. Whoever is in the chat, you have the priority. Cross-ex questions, cool, cool, cool. I don't think I have any cross-ex questions. Do I have in the Google Drive? We do. All right, cool. I'll pull that up. It's not the greatest quality, so bear with me, chat. I know it can be a little bit hard to see these. However, you guys can go to the drive yourselves as well and look at it because I gave you the drive link in the pinned comment in the chat. Okay. Okay. So this is cross-text, of course. This is cross-text plus timeline. Because the author of text 2 most likely agree with your statement about the Gondwanan species mentioned in text 1. What do we say? Gondwanan species. Okay. Okay. So the finding, the crown age of this thing was 41.1, which is pretty old, and then nearly all other species are much more recent, 2.0. Okay, so their findings are, for text 2, if I just look at text 2, that even though the oldest species there, the oldest origin was 41.1, the majority of species are much younger than that. They have a much more recent origin, which is 2 million. Okay. So let's see. And then they're both all in the same place, Grand Terre. Okay. And then the Gondwana is the old ones. Okay, they're the ones that came from 80 million years ago. Jesus, that is a long time ago. All right. So I know the answer here is probably C because it's color coded, but you guys can try to take a guess in the chat. Yeah. So the answer here is C. And this is a simple. It's not. I don't really think it's a cross text. This is more of a timeline question. You could kind of consider this as one text. This is not really a true cross text question because I'm gonna get rid of my markups. The most recent common ancestor of the species, 41.1 million years. Yeah. And then the majority of them are 2.0 million years. Okay. But the Gondwanan species are 80 million years ago. 80. That's way before all of these things, right? So the Gondwanan species aren't there anymore because the most recent time is 41.1, or the mass majority of them are at 2. Yeah, that's too long ago. So the answer here is C. They're all gone. So not a true time cross text question. So I'm just gonna do another one. I'm on Khan Academy right now as well, just looking for questions to do for you guys. I know, and also the Khan Academy questions you guys have already done, most likely. But just because you've done the question doesn't mean necessarily we have like the easiest strategy to do it. So we'll do this. Yeah. And this will probably be the last one I look at, unless you guys have more questions. Like, feel free to just ask me in the chat and I'll do them. But yeah, I do have to. I didn't want to start listing the things I have to get to do today. Oh, this is a good one. I like this one a lot. A lot of my students get it wrong. I mean, like, why would you like it if students get it wrong? Wouldn't you want them to get it right? But like, it's a really good teaching tool. So whether or not you've done this on your own, try to do it again. Notice this is actually from text 1. Exclamation mark. Because like we're so used to answering what does the second guy say? So be open to the fact that they could ask about the first guy sometimes. Okay. What do you guys think for this? No guesses in the chat, which is fine. I'll just go through it. So this repeats what I already said for these research passages. Trap answer, just backwards. They use all the correct vocabulary. They use the easily recognizable scientific terminology. However, they throw in the word like not, right? Or if it's supposed to be an increase, they make it a decrease. It's just flipped. So the most common answer people put is A, which is wrong because our microscopic laws of physics say that things should be reversible. The finding was that it's irreversible. So it literally goes against our laws of microscopic physics. So it is not consistent. It's inconsistent. Yeah. Uh-huh. So then I think it's not that bad once you get kind of used to that type of thinking to, figure out how to get rid of it. So what is the right answer here though? Let me check the chat again. Anybody? There are supposedly 7 of you here. You guys want to take the guess? Boundary example rather than Robert, if you have any screenshots of any questions, I totally could. I don't have any off the top of my head right now. Example, rather or though. I know what you're kind of talking about, but I just did a few of those yesterday. But I can do a boundary, of course. But if you could just send me a screenshot into the folder. Or just put a link into the chat, whichever one I'll do it. Oh. Right. So the answer here is B, which sounds really strong because of the word must, right? And a lot of my students are like, "Oh, Jay, you always say you have to avoid extreme language. What even is extreme language?" Okay. The word must, honestly, is an extreme language, but it's okay. Why is it okay? Because must be, and then it puts a very common sense phrase afterwards. Must be incomplete. That's fine. Like if I say, "Oh, whatever let's see. Whatever I find in these results, there must always be something I could learn more about." That's a very reasonable statement in science. Because the opposite here will be the extreme. Nothing's ever going to be complete in science. Yeah? Our understanding is never going to be complete. That's the whole point. We have to keep learning more things. So, what do we find here? Our laws said things should be reversible, but the results showed that they're irreversible. What does that mean? Our laws are flawed. So the answer here is B. In fact, B, even though it uses the word must be, is not as extreme as it could be. Honestly, you could have probably gone with like it shows that the laws are wrong. They are flawed. But they just use a more gentle word like incomplete. Yeah. Yep. And let's see. And Robert King. Yes. Oh, this is great. I try to find one for you of the rather boundary question. And this was literally the first one that I found on Khan Academy. Like when I went to the boundary section. This is the first example that came up. Alright. But this is more, it uses rather. Let's see, what you asked. Boundary example rather or though. Like it uses the word rather, but it's like this one just, the number one thing I check is like bound, right? Sentence versus fragment. AKA, am I fixing a run-on? So we have one sentence. Seville is not, one sentence. And then we have, she is, another sentence. 2 sentences. And they try to trick you by putting the apostrophe. That's she is. This is two sentences. So A and B and D are all out because you cannot connect sentences with just a comma. Right? You can't sentences with a comma. And you obviously you can't connect sentences with like literally nothing. So the answer is C because of the semicolon. Because semicolon connects sentences. I mean, that had the word rather in it, but the rather or the however doesn't really introduce any additional difficulty there. So that's what that is. Okay, I'll do a few. No, the next question's. Excuse me. Oh my god, allergies are insane this year. So this is the exact same thing. This one, I'm not even gonna look at the text. It's probably going to be. Actually, I'm not even gonna do the screenshot method here. I'll pull that up on the actual. Notice how D is the only one that divides it properly into sentences. A, that's a comma splice. You can't just put a comma. That doesn't fix the problem. B, that's literally no punctuation. That doesn't fix the problem. C, that's a lot of people fall for. If I use but, I need a comma to combine two sentences with but. Fanboys, for and nor but or yet so. Those 7 words. For and nor but or yet so. I need to put both a comma and the transition word to combine sentences. So I haven't looked at this text at all. I literally haven't. The answer is probably D. It'd be embarrassing if I was wrong, but let's check. It is. Because that's the only one that connects sentences. Period. Next sentence. Alright. This one. Oh, this one's like these are like, because you guys see the dash here? So the dash is here just have to match. Probably. Again, I'm not even reading these carefully. Alright. So again here, we have the dash, then you have a dash, right? That's why we're both dashes. Alright. This is probably D. Should I look at the sentence? Because this same thing. This one creates a new sentence, right? None of these do. So it's probably this one. If I'm wrong, I'll check. I'll read the text, I guess. But Khan Academy is very happy that I did those 4 questions. I don't want to do this now anymore. Try again. That's what I wanted to do. It's probably B. Again, I didn't even read it. You should though. You should read it. You should not do the test like this. But why? This one creates 2 sentences, right? None of the other ones do, so it's probably that one. Then we should check though. This one, C. Again, this one creates new sentences. These don't. Okay, I hope they give me a different. Jesus. Okay. Now, this one I can't use that method. Why? Again, I haven't read the text, but A, colon, C, period, and D, a semicolon, those could all separate 2 sentences. So this one I have to actually look. Alright. Interestingly, the first sentence here literally doesn't matter at all because it's a boundary question. So I just have to look at the sentence that we are zooming in on. Let me hold on, guys, hold on. And just screenshot this. This one I prefer to do my writings on and stuff. There you go. Checking chat. Yep. Alright. So this one I have to actually do. Yeah. Because there isn't one that just creates 2 sentences. So this stuff doesn't matter because this stuff doesn't belong to this. So it's just starting here. Interestingly, studies have, because not a transition question. Transition question, I have to look at a sentence before to figure out the relationship. This is not a transition question. Okay. Studies have identified 2 groups of people that chromesthesia is particularly common in. Oh. This is not a sentence. So it's A. Because for C and D, both of them, the part to the right has to be a sentence. In musicians and composers, or musicians and composers, that's not a sentence. So, and this is exactly how you use a colon. They have identified two groups of people that this is common in. Colon. Well, what are those two groups? Musicians and composers. You put the colon and you tell me more about what you were just talking about. All right. Okay, let me just check the chat for the last time because this will be the last question I go over. Just one more boundary question, and we'll call it a day. I am also doing another live stream later today, but you guys probably time zone wise are not going to be available for that, which is fine. But please, let me know in the chat. Advanced craft and structure. Okay, Dexter, advanced craft and structure. Any particular types in advanced craft and structure, or any particular questions? Feel free to put it into the chat. Robert, I'm sorry, I just went through it, but like the live stream will be right on it. I just did like 6 boundary questions. I feel like, but a lot of them are pretty easy. Dexter, advanced craft and structure. Any particular topics within craft and structure, Dexter? Or questions that you have like screenshots of, you can put into the folder. Advanced craft and structure. There's a few topics here. Okay. Because I did cross text already today. All right, I'll do some like a couple questions of structure and purpose. Yeah. If that's cool with you guys. Alright, I'll do like a speed run through like 4 advanced questions on the craft and structure, on the structure and purpose section, and then we'll call it a day. Yeah. Unless you guys have questions that you really, really want me to do, then we'll do them. Cool. Alright. Speed run time. Okay. Can I zoom in? Yes, I can. There you go. It's much better. Alright. A out. Now take your time to read through, guys, but A is out. Because that claims that. Watch out for those. Claims that. A lot of times, the author doesn't present any argument. Look here. Works of moral philosophy are concerned with this thing. Jonathan Barnes argues something. However, right? Some works attempt to do this and do the blah blah blah, right? The actual guy who wrote this, he doesn't make any argument. He said these people say this, these people say this, and these people say this. Okay. So the answer here is D. Look how vague that is. The more vague, the better. Oh, it's a structure question too. Structure question is just this. The default is what happened in the first half of the text and what happened in the second half. The advanced structure questions are they divide into thirds. This happened the first third, second third, and the third third. Alright. So it's D because a characterization about a field of thought by noting 2 works in it. Okay. Plato's Republic, Neo-Machian Ethics. Is that a field? Yes, moral philosophy. And then some works in the field are more comprehensive than others. Yeah. Some works do 2 things. Yeah. So we have these works tell you how to live a morally good life. However, some works do that while also telling you why. So that he has some works tell you how. However, some works tell you how and why. That's more comprehensive because that's 2 things. Yep. Okay. Checking chat. Long passages. Long passages. Maybe we'll get a long passage in here. Are you talking about the cross-text ones? We could go to cross-text, honestly. Okay, if it's long text, then yeah, because the structural ones, honestly, they're not as important. Hold on. Cross-text. We'll do cross-text. Because I feel like that's probably closer to what you mean by long. This one we already did. Oh, my bad. That's backwards. That's the answer. Ooh, I like this one. Alright. Alright, chat. This will be the last one I do. I mean, I know I've been saying that. I just kind of keep doing more, but text structure and purpose. Oh, you want me to go back? Okay, we can do that. We'll do all of them on text structure and purpose. That's fine. Text structure and purpose. Cool. Structure again. So it's what happened in the first half and what happened in the second half. So you want to be pretty familiar with these background ideas. A lot of times, if I say this, the Eurocentric ways of doing things are going to be problematic. We're going to have a non-European person, aka a non-white person, saying that the white way of looking at things is not the best way. We should be looking at a more diverse, more global, some different way. Okay. So we have the Eurocentric concepts have little relevance for India. Okay. So to make things more relevant for India, you have to do other stuff. And he has thus proposed the Indian village. All right. So I've seen this multiple times. This is the European way of doing things, or this is the white people way of doing things. But here is a way that is perhaps better, which is the more specific way of doing things. Whether it is, for example, way better suited for India. I've had way better suited for studying Confucianism and Chinese philosophy, whatever it is. A is out because I don't know where he got trained. Okay, I don't early training. I don't know what did he go through. And then B, other social scientists, plural, not mentioned at all. And then C, critique of the social sciences. Yeah, it had little relevance. That is critique. And in his attempts to address, yeah, he proposes something else. See? And then D, this happens all the time, guys. When you do structure questions, it's even more so than the others. Eliminate, quick. It didn't happen in text. And they do this plural stuff. Are there multiple other social scientists? No, it's literally just one dude. It's just this Rod Kamal Mukherjee, like this one guy. So D and B, they're out for the same reason. So answer is C here. Okay. Oh, it's a literary one. I don't really want to. All right, we'll do this one. Call it a day. All the maybe not. Why did I do all of these are structure? Probably B. Yeah, that's B. Like, and this is such a common structure. I want you guys to have this memorized. We have traditional theory says whatever, right? As soon as I see that, even if I not even look at the structure, I know that if they say traditional economic theory, they're gonna. But here's the new theory. Traditional theory says this, and then this person challenges the view, arguing something else. Let's B. Please just give me a purpose question. No. Oh, okay. It's not a purpose question. Oh, so this one, the answer here is B. Because. Is it B? Oh, yeah. This phrasing here, aim to address. When they have a function question, it's like a second sentence. That's my suspicion. The structure of the research passages go. This is the background knowledge, and then this is the stuff that we don't know about. This is the reason we have to do the research. Here is the team. Here are the results. That's how it goes. So like that's why they did the research. This stuff over here. That's the problem. That's the thing that is flawed. That's the thing that's not good enough. That's the problem they're trying to address. Got. Answer here is okay. Qualifies can mean to provide additional information on. Steady like a rock, a soft kind of rock. So this is literally what kind of rock? A soft rock. The earlier description is this one. Okay, qualification is adding more description or requirements. Structure. Why is it every one of these structure? Why? Okay. Hmm. Like it's this, I think. Intrusive project. Yeah, there's a project. This. Okay. The approach. This is the approach. And then example critique. Some critics suggest like, I don't want to do a structure question. I want a purpose question. That is not cool. But all right. Let me check the chat one last time. Okay. So the answer here should be oh. Okay. So the answer here is B. Because is this an interaction? Yeah, they smile and they blush and all of that, right? That works. What's the difference between B and C? Chat. What's the difference? Anybody? Again, you have to be really good at just eliminating things. Is this an interaction? Yeah, it is, because like they're talking to each other and they see a smile and then she gets embarrassed, right? Theme. It's not a theme. They're talking and she gets embarrassed. She blushes and she gets. That's not a theme. Answer is B because it's not a theme. All right. Please give me like some purpose questions. Oh my god. All right. Search. Let's. Yes. All right. Actually, last one today, guys. Last one. Okay. The main purpose of the text. Let me see. What do you guys think? What is the main purpose of it? It's research, right? So it's research. The main purpose is going to be share with us some information they learned, share with us some findings. Yeah. So A. The answer is A. Discuss the findings. Now, discuss the findings of the study. That's always correct for a research passage, right? I just have to check. Okay, is that true though? Is that the thing that they tested? Let's see. Plant species. Yeah, they do have a plant. Yeah. Oh yeah, it is lunar soil. That's the purpose. This. Okay. B is out because I don't know. There was no hypothesis mentioned. C is out. Was there a question? There was no question. Okay. And then to distinctness assessing. Are there methods of assessing? That means like we have two different methods of like judging. I don't know. Answer is yeah. It's this one. Well, and also discuss the findings exhibited. That means they show those are findings. Cool. Nice. And then yeah, that was the last one I wanted to do. Do we have any last minute questions? Guess not. All right. Thanks for coming to the chat, guys, and to the live stream. Those of you who are taking the test very soon because of different time zones, good luck. Those of you who have more time, I will be doing another live stream today. At what time? And all my time is in EST at 5 p.m. EST today. So if you guys want to come into that one, you guys are very welcome to do so. Okay. Regardless, good luck on your test, everybody. Thanks for coming in, and good luck. Yep. Bye bye, guys. Thank you for